This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
Everybody, welcome to Clarence Gems, and today we're going to be taking a look at one that I have to say I really think is pretty good, but I'm not going to spoil it all. We're going to be talking about Spells of Doom. That really means that there's going to be some problems here, and some doom and maybe some spells in it. I don't know. There's only one way to find out. Let's go down to the table and take a look.
Alright, here we have the board for Spells of Doom. I mean, how can you go wrong with a game name like that? The components, they're okay. These figures are pretty nice. I mean, they're nothing I would try to paint. I think they're fine just the way they are. They really don't need anything over the top unless you're excessive and you want to do something excessive with it, which would be fine. The cards, these cards are okay. I think they're not the greatest cardboard, but the art on them is just absolutely stunning and very, very nice. I really like what this does. So how does this work, you ask? Well, you have two mages, okay? You could play 4-player, there's special rules, and again, I'm not going to go over every single rule. It comes with a very well and detailed rule book, which gives you everything that you need to do. It's spelled out very clearly. I found it very easy to go through, and they explain every card and make it very easy. You have two mages that are trying to take control here, and everything is broken up into 3 rounds of 6. So each round you play 3 rounds. You play 6, and then that's the end of 1 round. Then you play another 6. That's another round done. That's round 2, and then another 6, and round 3 is done. So you have 18 turns in total. The whole idea is to get 12 victory points in a 2-player game. So the first person to get that, it wins the game. So you have this really nice card that has everything that you need to keep track of the turns and the victory points, of course. Now each mage is trying to build mana and victory points. And by doing that, they have to spend mana to capture these magic towers. They will give them additional mana. And as you can see, you take your crystals and that designates which one is yours. You'll be moving throughout the board and hiring for instance, soldiers and stuff like that to attack and try to overcome things. You can spend 2 mana to take over somebody else's area by just simply spending the 2 mana, and now that is yours. At the beginning of your turn, depending on how many of these areas you have, you will count up. I have 1, 2, and maybe I have what they call a mage tower. That will give me an additional mana. So that's 3, and you always get at least 1 mana per turn. So I would have 4 mana to work with on this chart. So what does this chart tell you? It tells you what kind of spirits you can conjure, what kind of spells that you can use. You also get these cards. You'll have 5 cards at the beginning of each turn, and they may give you additional armor. They may give you some differences to your attacks, or they just might be able to play them and get additional mana to cast additional things. You can have these guys, you can cast some of these soldiers to go out, and they can go out and capture and fight other soldiers while your movement, and you also have a certain speed movement. Now the way combat works, which is pretty simple, as you can see here, you have a value, an armor value and an attack value. Your attack value is how many dice you're going to roll. Your armor value is the number that you have that you are going to have to beat. So in this particular, you're pretty weak at a 1, so you want to beef these up, and once per turn, okay, you can beef this up pretty quickly to a 3, and there's some cards that'll beef it up even higher for a limited amount of time. So if somebody attacks you and you have an armor 3, they may have an attack 2, so they would get to roll 2 dice. They would have to be 3s. Well, in this case, he didn't get any hits. Now, if he was to get a 3 or better, then he would do 1 damage. And depending on what your hit points are at that time, you would subtract 1 damage for as many hits as you get. If you ever get a natural 6, that does 2 damage right off the bat, so you would subtract 2 damage. Now, you're going around trying to get all these victory points and stuff like that, but if you should get into combat with another mage and you defeat that mage and kill that mage, you automatically get 4 victory points. So it is advantageous to go over and try to take him out, because it's going to give you a quicker way to get more victory points in order to win the game totally. I think this, the components are good. I like all the crystals and everything, and very nice dice. The board is beautiful. The cards are beautiful. I wish they were just a little bit, I feel as if I bend one of these, they're going to be done. So these are definitely something I'm going to have to sleeve. But I definitely am very thrilled with this. I really like this, and I think this is a very good bargain for what it is at in our clearance section at Miniature Market. So I think you should check this out. This is kind of something that's under the radar, and I don't know how many people know about it. Comes with some really nice figures. Again, they're not, you don't have to paint them, but you could. There is enough detail there where you can do that. And I really like what they have. It comes with an array of monsters and plenty of cards to really do a lot of different things with it. So, what are my final thoughts? There's only one way to find out. Why don't we head up top and see what I think of Spells of Doom.
Okay, so what do I think of Spells of Doom? You know something? I think this is a fun game. And it's in the clearance section. You can get it for, I think, like $42. It's a really pretty good game. I like how the cards play. I like the whole point of trying to take over the different mana pools or castles or whatever it is, and how this all plays out. There's a lot to it. There's good strategy in it. It's a game that's well worth the money. I enjoyed it. What I like to there's not really too much bad I can say about it. The miniatures could be a little bit better, and some of the components I think are just a little flimsy, as I call it. But I really enjoyed this. I think this is well worth the money, and I think it's one that's worth taking a shot and looking at, especially if you have a couple players to play it with, or just you and somebody, and you want to play a game that you're going to go against each other and use the units and stuff like that. The cards play very well into it. I think it's I think it's a really, really good game. I'm going to give this a solid 3 out of 5. I really enjoyed this. Well, that's another Review Corner clearance gem. Until next time, I'm Rob Warren, and we'll see you soon.
Sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, videos, and written reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, online gaming superstore, thousands of games and minis, discount prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.